How was your day?
This is Halloween, pumpkin screaming and get up.
So guys, 1,000 years ago, the Celts celebrated Halloween on October 31st with bonfires, which is pretty boring. Yeah, pretty boring. And also guys, back in those times, the life and the dead could be in the same era. That's what it is. And some of them went into the further and got lost.
Now head outside. Let my voice be your guide. Keep a steady stride. Into the further you go.
Yeah guys, well, it wasn't just normal people that were celebrating Halloween. There was also witches. They got that idea because of a few things. Let me tell you. They got that idea because of night terrors. People have been reporting in every culture that an old hag, whenever they woke up, has been sitting on their chest, either choking them, yelling at them, or basically just making them not breathe. And also the fact that there's always that one creepy old lady in the neighborhood. We all know that one creepy old lady, man. We all know it. We all know it. And there have been reports that, well, old ladies have been eating kids in the Bible. Yeah, old ladies have been snatching kids back in the old days just to have some nice dinner. Do you guys know that the jack-o'-lanterns that we know of is from a guy that was a troublemaker? And guys, did you also know that the reason why ghosts have sheets over them is because that's the sheet that they had basically on whenever they died, so they became a ghost, so they have their corpse sheet on them from when they died. That's pretty spooky, if you say the least. Yeah. No, so if I see anybody wearing that, you're lazy. That's just a lazy idea costume. But really, bro, like, if you were the person that made up the white sheet thing, then that's cool. That's awesome. That's really cool. But if you're just doing it nowadays, that's just really like 5 minutes. Alright guys, so this is writing. Just listen to my story and see if you guys like it. So guys, for this week of my writing, I wrote a pretty interesting story, so just listen to me talk about it. One day there was a kid named Joshua, and well, let's just say that he has a grandpa that lives in South Africa. His grandpa knows voodoo, and he made this special type of water that if you sprinkle it on anything, it comes to life. So, Joshua, the little doo-doo head that he is, he snatched it and went home with it. So he was like, I can make anything come alive? Well then, I like my boy Jigglypuff over there and Link, so why don't I just make them come to life? So he sprinkles it onto the posters and he says, man, I knew this was fake. So he goes to bed. He wakes up the next day and brushes his teeth, combs his hair, and behind him in the mirror, he sees Link. He turns around and actually sees him. He faints from starstruck. He wakes up and sees Link and he's like, wow, this is actually real. So he sets that water on the dresser, which has his Freddy poster on it, and it accidentally spills onto the Freddy poster, and then he goes to bed. He wakes up the next day, and then he does his normal thing, and then he sees Freddy at the end of the hallway, and he starts running out the door. Freddy is chasing after him, and then he turns around and sees that Freddy is gone. He was just like, okay, shoot, maybe Freddy's gone now. So he wakes up the next day, he watches the news, and he finds that one boy on Elm Street was killed, and Joshua gets sad, and he's just like, I know why that kid died. The next day, another kid died on Elm Street, and he keeps freaking out. The next day, too, another one dies, and that was the last kid on Elm Street. And Joshua says, shoot, maybe they'll be gone. So he wakes up the next day and finds and sees that on the news channel, another kid from another Elm Street died. He searches up how many Elm Streets are in America, and it says there are 45,000 Elm Streets in America. Alright guys, so this is reading. I'm doing another story of Halloween and all of that spooky stuff. So just go on and listen to the story. There was a man, I don't know who he was or his name or why he was visiting someone, but he was visiting a conductor on a train, and he looks over the edge and he sees someone and he waves,
Hello down there.
and the guy freaks out and he looks up and he's like, oh, so, and then he yells back, come down. And he does. And then they sit in his office, and the guy the conductor looked scared to see him. He asked, why do you look so scared? He goes, I'll tell you next time you visit. So he comes back the next time and he goes,
Hello down there.
then he goes down, talks with the man, and the conductor says, I feel like I saw you somewhere. And he says that there was a man at the end of the railroad tracks that had his hand over his head and was waving.
Hello down there. Look out. Look out.
And every time that man said that, one person died. The most recent one that happened, no one died. And the conductor said, I'm afraid it's gonna be me this time. I tried to talk him out of it, of being scared, but he just wouldn't listen. So the next day, I come to visit the conductor, and he goes, and he said, and I go, hello down there. And I go down, and he's not there. And I stop at the train and ask the driver, and ask, where's the conductor? And he says, he was at the end of the train, and I saw him, I said, and I waved my hand and told him to look out, but he didn't, so he died. What were your exact words that you said to him? I said,
Hello down there. Look out. Look out.
with my hand like this and my other hand waving at him. Alright guys, so this is science, and yeah, just take a look at my 5 screenshots of all my science that I did this week.